I would like to call this meeting to order. Good evening, Director, Commissioners, staff, and general public. Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will take roll. Chair Morales?
Present.
Vice Chair Medina?
Present.
Commissioner Cuevas?
Present.
Commissioner Lomelli?
Present.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Valdez is walking in. Commissioner Valdez?
Present.
We have a quorum, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on our agenda. Are there any corrections to the agenda?
Madam Chair, there are no corrections to the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Thank you very much. Next item, are there any public comments please?
We do not have any public comments, but I will go ahead and read the public comment section. At this time, the public may address the Planning Commission on any items listed on the agenda, including non-agenda items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. State law prohibits the Planning Commission from acting or entertaining extended discussion on a topic not listed on the agenda for tonight's meeting. As a reminder, please show courtesy to others while providing public comments and direct all comments to the chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any staff communications?
There are, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Once again, good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Viviana Esparza, who joined the city family about 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks, time flies. But she is our new planning manager, so you'll get to know her very well. She comes with nearly 2 decades of experience in government, government in a neighboring city, we'll say. But we're excited to have her as part of our team, so welcome. In addition to that, just as a reminder, the City Attorney's Office will be providing a presentation on the Brown Act at the next meeting, which is scheduled for September 17th. So you will receive a presentation at that meeting. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, can I get an approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission the meeting held on August 6th, 2024?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting held on August 6, 2024.
I'll second.
Can we get a roll call, please?
I will take roll. Chair Morales?
Aye.
Vice Chair Medina?
Aye.
Commissioner Cuevas?
Aye.
Commissioner Lomelli?
Aye.
Commissioner Valdez?
Aye.
Item 2 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so the next item on our agenda is the public hearing. Can we get...
Yes, I will introduce this item and hand it off to staff. So item 3 on tonight's agenda is a public hearing item. It relates to a proposed conditional use permit, and this would allow the demolition and new construction related to a 1,440 square foot building with related amenities for a Starbucks. This location will include a drive-through as well as an outdoor patio area for walk-up customers. We received one public comment, which we shared with the commission, and that, I believe it was received this afternoon at about 2:30. So we subsequently contacted the Montebello Police Department to follow up because there was concerns regarding accidents at the intersection. The Montebello Police Department has no record of any accidents within the last 12 months, so we just want to report that to the commission. So with that, I would also like to, in the spirit of teamwork, Emily Fernandez, who is hopefully watching, but she is out ill today, worked very hard on this particular project, but Daniel picked up for her, and he is going to provide a presentation tonight. So thank you.
Good evening, Chair, members of the Planning Commission, and the public. Tonight, I will be presenting case number PC 2024-0010-CUP for a conditional use permit request to allow Indira Ibrahimovic, on behalf of Greenberg Farrow, the applicant, to construct and operate a Starbucks with a drive-through at 201 West Whittier Boulevard. The entitlement associated with this project includes the approval of a conditional use permit with conditions to allow the construction of a 1,440 square foot Starbucks with a drive-through and outdoor patio in conjunction with the demolition of an existing restaurant, Mr. Pepe's Burgers, located at 201 West Whittier Boulevard in the C2 General Commercial Zone. Per the Montebello Municipal Code, drive-in restaurants within the C2 zone require a conditional use permit if the proposed building is located within 100 feet of a lot line of any lot classified in any of the residential zones. Located on the corner of West Whittier Boulevard and South 2nd Street, the aerial map before you outlines the subject property in red. The lot size is 11,777 square feet in area, and the proposed drive-through is 1,440 square feet in size. The subject property is currently developed with an existing Mr. Pepe's Burgers restaurant that is proposed to be demolished. The project site is Zone C2, General Commercial. The immediate surrounding land uses north, east, and west of the project site are also commercially zoned properties, which is consistent with the proposed commercial land use. To the south, there are properties zoned in the R3 multiple family residential zone, but the proposed project is not anticipated to have an adverse impact on any of the adjacent or abutting properties, considering the site has already been developed as a restaurant since at least 1989. Next slide, please. The slide before you illustrates the applicant's proposed site plan for the project. The proposed site plan review, or in this case, conditional use permit, would allow for the addition of a 1,440 square foot drive-through establishment. No vehicular access is proposed off Whittier Boulevard. In addition, the project proposes an outdoor covered patio and seating on the east at the corner of Whittier Boulevard and 2nd Street. All cars will both enter and exit the project site off 2nd Street. There will be one two-way driveway 26 feet in length that will be designated for accessing the parking lot and entrance to the driveway. Additionally, there will be one exit-only driveway 12 feet in length used only for cars exiting the drive-through. The applicant is required to have 4 parking spaces and is providing 8 parking spaces. The drive-through holds 10 cars and there will be 3,889 square feet designated for landscaping, including trees, shrubs, and ground covers. The slide before you illustrates the proposed north and east elevation for the Starbucks drive-through. On the north side elevation shown on the bottom, customers will be able to walk up to the ordering window and place their orders. This is adjacent to Whittier Boulevard. The east elevation shown on the top demonstrates the orientation of the vehicles as the customers wait for their orders at the drive-through window. Next slide, please. The slide before you illustrates the proposed south and west elevation for the Starbucks drive-through. Both the west and south elevations are intended to be utilized by customers in the drive-through only. Next slide. The slide before you illustrates the applicant's proposed outdoor seating area. The seating area is intended to sit a maximum of 10 people. A landscape buffer will provide separation from the public right-of-way along South 2nd Street. The conditional use permit application is considered a project per the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA definition. The project is considered a Class 32 categorical exemption per CEQA Guideline Section 15332 related to infill development projects, and none of the limitations set forth in CEQA Guideline Section 15300.2 apply. On August 22nd, 2024, the public hearing notice was mailed to owners within the 300-foot radius from the exterior boundaries of the subject property. And on August 22nd, 2024, the public hearing notice was published in the Daily Journal, the Whittier Daily News. Next slide, please. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 08-24 approving conditional use permit case number PC 2024-0010-CUP with conditions and determining that the project is categorically exempt from CEQA per CEQA section 15332 related to infill development projects. Thank you. This concludes my presentation. I am available for any questions or comments, as are the representatives for the proposed project.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments for the staff?
I have a question, if I may. Thank you. Can you discuss what the indoor floor area looks like for the Starbucks restaurant? Coffee shop?
Well, in this case, the total building area will be about 1,440 square feet. So, I mean, if you take away plus or minus the edges of the walls, I would think it's at least plus or minus 1,200-ish.
No, I'm sorry, like the layout, is there going to be indoor seating area, customer area?
There will be no indoor seating area. The only seating area will be the outdoor patio area, where it's intended that a total of 10 customers will be able to sit outside. But this is primarily intended to be a drive-through.
Drive-through. Thank you.
I have a quick question, more of a point of clarification, but the C2 zone allows what is this, a takeout restaurant?
It's referred to as a drive-through establishment.
Drive-through establishment.
Or drive-in restaurant, I believe may be the actual term that it uses, but in our code, it's defined as if you're within 100 feet of a residential area. In this case, that there is a residential immediately to the south, then that a conditional use permit would be required to allow a drive-through restaurant in the C2 general commercial zone.
Okay, so just to reiterate, C2 allows for the drive-through restaurant. The reason it's here in this body is because it's less than 300 feet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Within 100 feet
Within
of
100
residential.
feet of a residential area.
Yep.
Okay. Does a conditional use permit, I don't know, I'm assuming Public Works is going to take a look at this, right?
Yeah, Public Works and our traffic engineering division of the Public Works.
They've already set their conditions for,
If I may, Madam Chair, so early on, we provided this to all departments, and Public Works actually came back and had some concerns with the original layout. So the applicant actually took the comments from Public Works and completely flipped the design, requiring access off a second. Originally, access, I believe, was off of Whittier Boulevard. So that was a Public Works comment, yes.
and will there be a sound wall or a wall along the alley side? The renderings kind of lead us to believe that that's the case. I just want to make sure that.
There is a wall included on the south side adjacent to the alley.
Okay.
I believe as reflected in the plans, it may call it out as an 8-foot wall.
8-foot wall?
I believe that's what it's called out as.
Gotcha. And as part of the, I don't want to, step on any department toes, but it's part of the department, the either building safety or the Department of Public Works. Is there a condition that asks the applicant to maintain that wall free from graffiti?
I believe we did include as in our resolution under our planning division conditions that any graffiti must be removed within 24 hours.
Gotcha. Are there any walls adjacent to I think it's a motel, right? No walls?
Is that on the
To the west.
west side? For that one, I would defer to the applicant, so that they can speak to the walls on that side, but like I said, at least to the south side, I do recall seeing that there is a wall there that could serve the purpose of sound attenuation, what you mentioned related to any sound barriers for that area.
Okay. And I see that the building is, what is that, maybe about 5 feet away from the right-of-way line along Whittier, and there is a bus shelter. The bus shelter is, being that it's so close to property line, does the roof overhang some to provide some shade to people who are going to be standing there or queuing there to make their orders?
I don't believe that is a feature of the building as proposed, but I would also defer that to the applicant.
Okay. And are there any trees proposed as part of the landscaping?
Yeah, there are a total of 6 trees that are proposed as a part of the landscaping.
Thank you.
There's about maybe 30% of the total area will be covered by trees, shrubs, and ground cover. So overall, the landscaping at the site is pretty ambitious, I would say. It's about 30% of the site will be covered with landscaping.
And aside from closing and opening driveways, will there be any other form of public improvements in the area, in that corner?
Are you aware, I don't believe there were any other public improvements, correct, Joseph?
That's correct. I don't recall any other required improvements. But I would like to note that I looked at the conditions and I do not see, usually it's a standard condition for graffiti removal. If the applicant's okay with it and the commission wishes, we could add that as a condition.
Definitely.
You got it.
I think it's important.
So we received the email from a concerned citizen. Aside from this email, within the 300 radius letters, were any additional complaints or questions from the citizens or residents around?
Yeah, that was the only comment that was received.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And at this moment, I would like to open the public hearing and invite if there's any speaker cards or any comments, or invite the applicant.
The applicant
for-
may have some stuff to
Yes.
say.
So if the applicant can step forward.
Good evening. My name is Indira Ibrahimbegovic. I'm Land Development Director with Greenberg Farrow. We are the architect of record for Starbucks. Thank you for reviewing the project tonight. We are very excited to present the project. Feel that project is well designed for the appropriate location. And I wanted to address just a couple of minor comments that came up at this opportunity. A question about the canopy. Yes, there will be a canopy. There's a roof plan actually in the package that we provided. So there will be a canopy running for a good portion of that elevation facing Whittier Boulevard. Building is positioned at the code requirement between 0 and 5 feet. So we place it at 5 feet due to code requirements, making sure there's enough for accessibility on the private property, not using the public right away. So that was one question that I heard. There's no wall along the motel side. It's not required. It's a not adverse use. It's a relatively compatible use, and there will be an 8-foot high CMU wall along the south property towards residential as required by code. Anything else we can answer? We have members of a Starbucks team here, real estate manager, if they want to come up and address the commission. Any questions right now? I'm happy to answer, otherwise let us know.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. I'm not going to even attempt to call you by your last name because it's very difficult, but Indira, is it?
Indira, yes.
Okay, thank you. One question about the floor plan layout.
Yes.
And I don't want to put the burden on Starbucks because I think Starbucks provides the restrooms for everyone in the public out there for some reason. A lot of restaurants don't provide restrooms, but Starbucks always seems to have that available. Will there be restrooms available for, okay.
The code requires, the state law requires to provide a restroom if you have the public seating, so.
I'm aware of that, but even gas stations that are required by law don't provide them sometimes, but thank you.
We follow the code.
That's why I complimented
That's
Starbucks
the
for that.
Starbucks is, yes.
Exactly,
Correct,
so thank you.
Yes, there will be, the entries on the side.
Okay.
There's I have a floor plan, and I mean, we can share if needed. There's going to be about.
No, that's good, I just wanted to make sure that that was the case or
Yes.
not if, I figured that the code required it, but I just wanted to make sure. But also, want to compliment you on this driveway layout. It's pretty clever. Even In-N-Outs don't have, such a nice layout that cues the majority of the vehicles onto the property. We see a lot of these drive-through, either restaurants or even, other drive-through coffee shops that put the burden on the public, streets or alleys where the cars start queuing and kind of affect the traffic. Again, even In and Out does that, and kind of a nuisance for us driving through when we see that. So in this case, it's well planned and laid out, and I hope it works, as intended. In my opinion, I think it will. So
Thank you.
congratulations. Thank you for providing
It's a-
such a nice design.
Thank you. It's very small property, and we try to utilize it as efficient as possible and address all the requirements. As Mr. Palombi said, we addressed the comment to have a building towards the street and drive through hidden and have interaction with the public realm and provide some public patio for people to wait for a bus, getting a drink, walking around, residents. It's very, again, very, very small, but as efficient as possible.
I have a question. I'm not sure if this is for staff or for the applicant. I feel like Starbucks, it's a very nice layout, and I think it's going to be a nice upgrade to that area. But I do know that just it's a given that Starbucks is really popular, and there will be, I feel, probably even more than 10 cars at a time. Given that the entry and the exit, it's going to be in the direction where the entrance is, I feel like maybe it might cause some sort of, I don't know if there's a requirement that we can add or a sign that can be placed that if there is any more than the 10 vehicles, to not be blocking the,
Can have a sign.
The
Definitely
exit.
do not block the
Yeah,
street. Yeah, that's a relatively normal thing to do.
Yeah.
To put, we don't want to also block the exit, so we'll
Yeah.
probably add signs to.
yeah, given that it's a residential area as well, I just concerns for the residents as well. So,
And especially that it's a narrow street too, so that's a good idea to have a no blocking sign. All right. Are there any additional comments for the applicant or questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other speakers or to address? All right, and I will like to close this public hearing. And can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, I will take roll on item
Motion
3.
to approve.
Yeah, motion to approve. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
maybe just include the 2 requirements with the graffiti removal and the sign. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just want a clarification on the, on how the requirement for the graffiti removal will read. Like, I understand I'm assuming there's some sort of typical
If I may?
Yes.
language.
It actually is included as condition number 22.
Okay.
Let me see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually add.
Yeah, we have, it is a responsibility of the property owner to have all graffiti on the site removed within 24 hours of its appearance or be subject to citation from the City Code Enforcement Division.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Can we get a motion to approve?
I will make a motion to approve conditional use permit, case number PC-2024-0010-CUP with recommendations 1 and 2, as well as the sign to please not block traffic if there's more than 10 vehicles.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will take roll. Chair Morales?
Aye.
Vice Chair Medina?
Aye.
Commissioner Cuevas?
Aye.
Commissioner Lomelli?
Aye.
Commissioner Valdez?
Aye.
Item 3 is unanimously approved. Thank you.
Congratulations.
And next item,
Compliments of the city, they helped us a lot, staff and director, throughout the process, so thank you so much.
next item on the agenda, are there any planning commission orals? No? Okay, then I would like to call this meeting adjourned.